been asked to do a video on rounding numbers, so I'm going to do that now. But before I do, we have to revisit a topic that I talked about a couple days ago, which is place value. In order to be able to accurately round numbers, you need to have a good understanding of place value. So this is our place value chart. You've got your ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and remember I said it can go on and on and on. It's really important that you have that firm understanding of place value to help you know which numbers you're going to deal with and which numbers you're going to leave alone. A question will ask you to round to a certain place. That's when this is important. So if you're still struggling with place value and you're trying to do rounding, it wouldn't hurt to have a place value chart close by for you to reference. Now, in my class, I use a little rhyme to help my students know if they're going to round up or leave the number the same. This doesn't actually have to do with the place value that you're looking at. It has to do with the neighbor number, but I'll get into that in just a second. This is the rhyme. So we draw a roller coaster or a mountain, whatever you want to call it, and we put the number sign at the top. To my students, you might also call this the hashtag, but for today we're calling it the number sign. And we say, 5 or more, let it soar. 4 or less, let it rest. Now, this is also a handy chart to have with you when you're rounding. So I'll put it here because you can make this yourself at home. Okay, now before we get into some practice, when you round, you're going to round to the nearest whole number for whichever digit you're asked. So what that means is if you're asked to round to the nearest 10, your answer is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, or 90. But notice, everything in the ones place is a 0, because that's the nearest 10, the nearest whole 10. If you're asked to round to the nearest whole 100, which they probably won't say the word whole, they'll just say round to the nearest 100, your answer will be 100, 200, 300, 400, on and on and on. But notice the tens and the ones are zeros because you're rounding to the nearest whole 100. Well, 100, sorry. And likewise, if you're rounding to the nearest 1,000, your answer will be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and so on. But the number in the hundreds, tens, and ones are zeros. So let's do a little bit of practice. I'm going to write a number on my board. $347. If I said round 347 to the nearest 10, what I'm going to do is underline the number in the tens place. Then I'm going to look next door to the ones. This is when I might want to look at my chart. This number is bigger than where this number sign is. It's 5 or more. So what that means is that this number would round to 350. Let's try another one. $261. Round to the nearest 10. I'm going to underline the number in the tens place. And I'm going to look next door to the number in the ones place. It's a 1. That is 4 or less. So I'm going to let my number in the tens place rest. So 261 rounded to the nearest 10 is 260. Let's practice rounding to the nearest 100. $492. Round to the nearest 100. I'm going to underline the number in the hundreds place. And I'm going to look next door. Is it 5 or more? It is. So 492 rounds up. We let it soar. 492 rounds to 500. Let's do one more. $837. Round to the nearest 100. First, I'm going to underline the 100. Then I'm going to look next door. 3 is 4 or less, so I'm going to let it rest. 837 rounds to 800. Now, this is just one strategy that we can use for rounding. There is a whole nother strategy, but I'm not going to go into that today because for the parent who requested this, I think this will suffice. But now that the governor of Virginia has shut down schools for the rest of the academic year, you can count on me getting to that video soon. Have a great day.